Hey Swifties! Welcome to a brand new episode of Swiftie School, where together we walk Clownelia Street covering the latest news and Easter eggs from our fearless leader, Taylor Swift. I'm your host, Reagan Bailey, and it is enchanting to have you here. Now that we're out of the woods, let's get into today's episode. It's another great day to be alive at the same time as Taylor Swift. We've officially made it into the Burr months. Burr! I'm excited. Welcome back to the podcast. If you're new here, my name's Reagan, and this podcast, while I would absolutely love for it to be associated with Taylor Swift or Taylor Nation, it is not. N-O-T. It's not, and it's just an expression of my thoughts and opinions, and we're gonna have a lot of fun today because it's officially football season. As a new fan to the NFL, according to Taylor Swift, as of last year, I'm new to all this, and so I'm excited for a full season of fun, if you know what I mean. And not gonna lie, I think that I'm just excited for, I don't know, this time of year. I feel like it's been like sort of a long summer in the best way possible, like a really good summer. I feel like it's been like one of the best summers like since COVID. But I feel like fall for me, it's just something about the vibes. And I'm really excited about not only like personal wise excited for the vibes, but like Taylor wise excited for the vibes, excited for the content, excited for Tavis, excited for her to be able to just like relax. I know I don't like know her, but I'm excited for her. I could be excited for her. Okay. Now let's do a little personal life update because I was listening back a little bit to some of the clips from last week's episode, and honestly, I do not know how I recorded that episode. I really strapped on my big girl shoes and pushed through it because I was so sick last week. I think I was in denial for like the first day or two because I was coming off the high of like coming back from my vacation in London and having the best time at the Eras tour and all that jazz. But I was truly so sick. I pretty much laid in bed from Sunday until like Thursday. Honestly, Friday was like my first day out of the house, like seeing the daylight, and it's now Monday, and I feel like I am just finally like getting over the residual like stuffiness that I had. So, sending you good vibes in terms of not getting sick this fall or Burr month season, if you will. But that's that. I can't believe I pushed through it. So, thanks for bearing with me there. Now, like I said, this is kind of some of the first downtime that I've had in a while. I definitely feel like I girl bossed a little too close to the sun this year when it comes to traveling because I said I want to go hard with the traveling. I want to travel a lot in 2024. I want to be out and about and see the world. And I feel like I've done that almost a little too much. I'm exhausted and my wallet is exhausted. Also, I feel like it's hard to get into a routine when you're traveling so much. I feel like I'm just doing this like quick catch up of laundry. Just as I start to get a routine again, it's like time to head out the door to another trip. Not to say I'm not grateful and I haven't loved the time that I've had out and about during my own personal Swiftivities, but I'm a little tired. That to say, I am headed to New York literally tomorrow. I record my episodes on Monday. They go live on Wednesday. So by the time you listen to this, I will already be in Welcome to New York. Never walk Cornelia Street again. I've been to Cornelia Street. If I happen to walk past it, I'll definitely send you guys a pic. But the thing I'm most excited about, this is so lame that this is what I'm most excited about, but I'm very excited because when I was in London, I filmed the second half of this video that I'm dying to finish when I get to New York. And it's I think I've told you guys about this, the New York, be here, but you're in London. And I'm very excited because I'm going to film the first half of it and then I can finally post that trend. It's little things in life. But anyways, I went a little crazy with the travel. I'm very much in this era of organizing, assessing, optimizing. I want to like clean out my whole house. I don't know. And I kind of like that vibe. So I feel like that's maybe just like the fall energy kicking in of like that cozy sort of nesting mood, if you will. But a lot of you guys know I have a marketing agency and I'm just sort of in this mood of like planning for fall, Q4. We're heading into the end of the year. What are my goals? I'm looking to take on a couple of new clients. So I'm excited about potentially working with some new energy, new people, new companies. And that's that. That's sort of like my personal life update, if you will. Now, I was thinking about the Chiefs, and as we move into football season, what sort of information can I give you guys? What's new? What's interesting? What's the scoop? What's the tea? What new information can I give you guys? We have no idea what games Taylor will officially be at. We obviously don't know what she's going to wear. And then it dawned on me, and I was like, you know what? I know that there's a lot of like backstory and history when it comes to NFL teams, and a lot of them have like owners and families that are a part of it. And then they have a lot of like rich history, if you will. So I wanted to give you a little backstory slash history lesson on the Kansas City Chiefs because why the heck not? So let's talk about them. Kansas City Chiefs. Fun fact, they were actually originally the Dallas Texans. And I was like, hold up. What? The Kansas City Chiefs were the Dallas Texans? That's confusing. But the team was originally founded as the Dallas Texans back in 1960 by a man named Lamar Hunt. So we've got Lamar Hunt founds the Dallas Texans, which will later be the Kansas City Chiefs. Sneak peek, if you will. One of the original founders. And Lamar Hunt was also one of the founders of the American Football League, better known as the AFL. Now, in 1963, the team relocates, and this is where we shift from the Dallas Texans to what we now know as the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's because, hint, hint, the Dallas Texans, they relocated to Kansas City, Missouri, came up with the name Kansas City Chiefs, and pretty early on, the Chiefs were one of the dominant teams of the AFL. Keep in mind, the AFL and the NFL are eventually going to have a merger, but this is not until several years later in 1970. And the team was founded in 1960 as the Dallas Texans. So about a decade later, this will happen. But at the time, they are still a part of the AFL for their first 10 years. And the Chiefs were really dominant. They were a really great team. And they actually won 3 AFL championships happening in 1962 when they were still the Dallas Texans, and then 2 more times in 1966 and 1969. Now, the Chiefs ended up winning their first Super Bowl in 1970, and they defeated the Minnesota Vikings in 1970. The score was 23-7, and this was the Super Bowl 4. Literally, Super Bowl IV. Literally 4. And like I said, because the merger happened in 1970, this Super Bowl that the Chiefs won was a Super Bowl number 4, was actually the last Super Bowl played before the AFL and NFL had their big merger. So it's 1970. The Chiefs now became a part of the NFL after the AFL and NFL merger, and they were placed on their newly formed AFC West division. I've heard chatter when listening to like football commentary and stuff about the AFC and the like West division. All like this is making a lot more sense. So hopefully if you're new to the football world, this is of interest to you because I found this interesting. And then speaking of the Chiefs and where they're located in Kansas City, Missouri, they moved to Arrowhead Stadium, which is where they still obviously currently play, in the year of 1972. So about 2 years after that merger happened. And this stadium, like many stadiums, is very much known for its like very loud and passionate fan base, but hello, shocker, shocker. That's kind of describing literally NFL fans to a T. Now, during the 1970s and 1980s, it was sort of like a slow period for the Chiefs because they kind of faced difficulties and inconsistencies and really had limited success during this time. It's interesting because now we hear of the Chiefs and you hear of them as like a pretty big and successful and well-known team that a lot of people cheer for and root for, but it kind of seems like they had a bit of a lull, as many people, or I should say sports teams do when they're kind of like on the rise and on the come up. Now, in speaking of the coaches, obviously we hear a lot about the current coach, which is Andy Reid. And Andy Reid was hired in 2013. And Andy Reid is really responsible for bringing the Chiefs up to what we know now as like being one of the top teams in the NFL. But before Andy Reid was Marty. I'm going to call him Marty S because I have no idea how to say his last name. Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer? I'm going to go with Schottenheimer. We've got Marty Schottenheimer. We'll call this the Marty S era. And in 1989, hello. And in 1989, it's not really a lyric, but you get the vibes. 1989, Marty S was hired as a head coach, and Marty S led the Chiefs into consistent playoffs appearances all throughout the 1990s. So kind of pulling them out of that lull that we had in the 1970s, 1980s, Marty S comes in, kind of pulls them out of that. They're getting into the playoffs. Things are looking up and up until obviously several years later when Andy Reid was hired in 2013. Now, another big momentous moment following the hiring of Andy Reid in 2013, fast forward 4 years, is what I'm going to call the Patrick Mahomes era. Drafted in 2017, we have quarterback, which is Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes has definitely become a very well-loved player across the NFL, but also was responsible for leading the Chiefs to significant success. A lot of the success that we're kind of like known now in this current period, including winning MVP of the season in 2018, and then obviously a Super Bowl victory in 2020, which was Super Bowl LIV, which is 54. So 50 years after their initial Super Bowl win, we have another victory for the Chiefs. And this time, the Super Bowl victory in 2020 was against the San Francisco 49ers, where the Chiefs won 31-20, making this their first championship, like I said, in literally 50 years. Since then, the Chiefs have experienced a lot of ongoing success and have really remained top contenders when it comes to the NFL, making several playoff appearances and competing in multiple AFC championships. So there you have it, a little overview of the Kansas City Chiefs and the history there. Hopefully that was of interest. And if anybody is listening with their father, boyfriend, sister, husbands, girlfriends, whatever, that are big Chiefs fans, let me know how I did, okay? I think I did pretty dang good. We've come a long way when it comes to learning about the NFL and the footballs, okay? Okay. Now, I wanted to tie this back to Taylor, obviously, and I wanted to talk about Taylor and sort of her appearance in Kansas City over the years, obviously unrelated to Travis, because this is like very pre-Travis era. But Taylor and her appearances in Kansas City actually date back to 2009 in the Fearless era, when we had the, drumroll please, Fearless tour. I wanted to figure out how many times has Taylor performed in Kansas City, both just like in the city itself and at Arrowhead Stadium. And it's been quite a few times. Seems like she's appeared in the city itself for actual performances, 5 separate occasions, sometimes performing one night, sometimes performing 2 nights. So could be several nights, more than 5, but she's been to the city 5 times. First time, 2009, we've got the Fearless tour. And then she comes back 2 years later in 2011 for the Speak Now tour. Really fun fact that I found when doing some research for this episode is 2011 Speak Now tour. Someone had posted a photo of their OG concert ticket from the Speak Now tour at Arrowhead Stadium. And it says on the ticket, like Taylor Swift, Speak Now tour, yada, yada. And then it says sponsored by CoverGirl. I did not attend Speak Now tour. And I'm curious for anybody who did, was this tour sponsored by CoverGirl? If so, were other tours sponsored, and who were the sponsors? Because I feel like that would make a fun episode to do like a deep dive. I guess there wouldn't be that much info on it other than these are the sponsors, but I would be curious to know if anybody attended Fearless tour, OG like debut, or any like early concerts or shows or tours. Red Tour, was Red Tour sponsored? I don't know. I'm very curious to know now, because I'm like, I don't remember Reputation Stadium tour being sponsored. Do you guys? Obviously, Eras Tour doesn't have a sponsor, right? Like, am I missing something? I don't know. I have no idea. But I thought it was a little interesting tidbit and fun fact for you. So we've got Taylor, 2009, 2011 in Kansas City, and then she's back 2 years later. As we know, she kind of follows a pattern with her tours, and every 2 years with the Red Tour. And she did 2 nights at Arrowhead Stadium. And then again in 2018, we've got Reputation Stadium tour. And of course, July 7th and 8th, was it? For the Eras Tour in Kansas City, where, of course, everything has changed because Travis, in fact, did make the friendship bracelet, take the moment and taste it. So fun. Love that for him. Bravo, Travis. Now, fast forward to current year. We've got the 2024-2025 Chiefs season. Obviously, everything kind of bubbles up to February, which is when the Super Bowl is, but that's a long way away. We are just dipping our toe in the water, and I was shook at the core when researching for this episode because I need someone to tell me if this is false. But according to my research, last season, Taylor attended a total of 13 games. Is that correct? Because if so, what if I told you none of it was accidental in the first night that you saw her? It was going to be 13 times to the Chiefs games? Come on. Be so for real with me right now. Did she plan that? I'm sure she did. I'm sure someone did, because that's crazy. If she didn't plan that, come on now. Anyways, she attended 13 games last season, and it really seems like, at least for the month of September's very fair game, because clearly we don't have any Eras Tour until October. And we have a couple of big games coming up. So when you're listening to this episode, if you're listening to it on Wednesday when it comes out, we have a game tomorrow. Code Red Alert, we have a game tomorrow. Tavis content is coming back September 5th. Woot, woot, woot. Put on your red, put on your yellow. Is it yellow or gold? Are Chiefs colors yellow and red or gold and red? Someone tell me. Drop it in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. September 5th is allegedly, according to the interwebs, supposed to be a pretty big game for the Chiefs, like one of their biggest games the whole season. followed by another big game on September 15th. So both September 5th and 15th are supposed to be really big games for the Chiefs, and these are both going to be home games. Then September 22nd, we have an away game. Taylor could still be in attendance because, again, no Eras Tour. And then September 29th, we've got a game, and then October 7th. We know for a fact she will miss the October 20th and 27th games because we got Miami and New Orleans Eras Tour happening those dates. But it really seems like when looking at the entirety of the Chiefs' schedule for 2024-2025 season, is that I believe she'll pretty much only miss, like officially for sure, she cannot attend like 3 games, which is not bad. Honestly, not bad. Not bad for us, at least. Maybe the girl wants to relax and watch a game at home. By all means, please do it. But would love to see you on the screens, on the TV, if the NFL so dares to show you, Taylor, if you're listening. But anyways, that's your little football overview. Hope I did okay. I'm really excited about some of the submissions I got sent in today because there are some good ones. And I got to say, shout out to Carly because she really did the Lord's work doing some calculations and deep dives here for today's submission. But before we get into that, a couple of quick notes for you. You guys know I absolutely live, laugh, love for my Patreon members. It is so much fun over there. And if you enjoy the podcast and you're looking for a way to continue the clowning, continue the fun, continue the conversation, if you just want to have casual conversation with other Swifties, if you want to make friends, if you want to chit chat with me on the clown calls, if you want more bonus content in terms of the podcast, I do bonus episodes there every month. The next one's going to be really fun. I'm excited for the guest that's going to be on our Patreon bonus episode. So please consider joining. It's a great way to support me and all the free time that I put into this podcast, into my Taylor Swift content, into the Swiftie School Instagram, all that jazz. Find and explore all the different tiers and offerings over there at patreon.com/Swiftieschool. patreon.com/Swiftieschool. Last thing I'll mention about Patreon is that I have a really fun download that went live on the 1st of this month. If you do join, you have access to the entire archive of stuff on the Patreon, which is really great, especially for the downloads. So the download for this month's really fun because it's a VMA ballot, I'm calling it, where you could fill it out before the VMAs. You can guess everything from like, is Taylor going to have her hair up or down or half up, half down? Is she going to be wearing a long dress? Is she going to wear a skirt? Is she going to wear a pantsuit? What categories is she going to win? Like there's so many different fun things to vote on. And then what we're all doing is like, we're going to tally up our scores, share in the Patreon. And I don't know if I'm feeling nice, I might pick a winner. So that's that. Let's go ahead and switch gears into our Swiftie submissions. We've got this really fun one, a little long-winded, but very good and necessary from Carly M. And Carly said, by the way, if you're new to the podcast, you could send in Swiftie submissions at any time. Any day of the week, anytime. You can find the link in my Instagram bio over on Swiftie School Podcast. You can find it in the description of this podcast. You guys know where to find it. Now, Carly M says, the OG 1989 came out on October 27th, 2014. 1989 Taylor's version came out on October 27th, 2023. October 27th, 2024 would mark the 10-year anniversary of the OG 1989 and the 1-year anniversary of 1989 Taylor's version. Capiche? Capiche. Taylor has a show in New Orleans on October 27th, which Carly just so happens to be attending. If Reputation Taylor's version was announced on the 1-year anniversary of 1989 Taylor's version, it could be released on November 22nd, 2024, which is Toronto Night 5. This still leaves time for Taylor to announce and release debut Taylor's version before the Eras Tour is over. Taylor could hint at Reputation Taylor's version during the VMAs to get his clowning for the Miami shows, but officially announce it on October 27th since this date is significant to her and Swifties. Also, since it is the 1-year anniversary of 1989 Taylor's version, Taylor could bring out Jack Antonoff during Surprise Song Set, and they could sing a mashup of 1989 songs since they both worked on 1989 together. Then Jack could stay on stage during the piano surprise song, and they could announce Reputation Taylor's version on stage together. This is a very, very fun and in-depth theory. And then she ends it up by saying, another side note is that 1989 was the album released before Reputation, and it was also the pop album that shifted Taylor's entire career. After 1989 came out, her reputation shifted and her career path changed. If Taylor wouldn't have put out Reputation, who knows what her career could be now, and it seems like it's just right for Taylor to release Reputation Taylor's version towards the end of the Eras Tour, where her career is at the highest it's ever been. Small round of applause, because Carly, this is fantastic work. Excellent, excellent numerology happening and research. Bravo, chef's kiss. I absolutely love every word of this. You have a great point that Reputation precedes me. The rumors are knee deep. The thing that preceded, is that the right word? The thing that preceded, we're going to go with it. The thing that came before Reputation was 1989. And it would kind of be interesting to use or leverage 1999 era to bring us back to the Reputation era. I think you have an interesting point. The fact that it's a 10-year anniversary on October 27th, that's a really big deal. And 1989 era was humongous for Taylor's career. Like, I think we're forgetting how huge of a shift that really was for her career. And I think this is a fantastic call out. I don't know what day of the week November 22nd is in terms of Toronto Night 5, but I really do think that we're about to get on a wild ride. And I know we've been saying that for a while, but we are down to the wire here, and it feels like something is bound to happen between VMAs, the final leg of the Eras tour, fall. Taylor loves fall. Her releases typically happen during fall. I'm just feeling it, okay? I've been saying that for a while, and you can put on your nose or throw your nose in my face, but I'm feeling a little something. And Carly, I think that we got to credit you because I think you've got something going here. Now let's close it out with Avery. A lot more simple here. But Avery said, I think we're going to get Reputation Taylor's version on September 11th, 2024 VMAs. I think this because this will be 13 years after the Taylor and Kanye incident happened, and Reputation was heavily influenced by Kanye and Kim. I am going to correct you, Avery. It is 15 years since the Kanye incident. It happened in 2009. Regardless, I do think that we have to continue to keep our high alert happening the week of September 11th, the VMAs, because it's a busy week. It's a busy week because that is the official ending of the TikTok bead game. On September 12th, we've been clowning for Friday, September 13th. Friday, September 13th is the official anniversary of the VMAs in 2009 and the Kanye incident because that happened September 13th, 2009. So we've got the official anniversary there. It's the 15-year anniversary, and 1 + 5 = 6, Reputation number 6. Lots of good vibes going on there. And the final clownery that I've mentioned over on my Instagram in my latest clowning reel is that when we're looking at the date of Friday, September 13th, we've been paying attention to that date for a while because it is 13 weeks before Taylor's birthday, which is also the 13th and a Friday. And it just makes sense. Okay. That's all I've got for you little football fans today. Is that right? Are we football fans now? I think we are. But I hope you enjoyed this little deep dive and little life update, if you will. I'm very excited to head to New York. If you are interested in all things fashion or just want to rate my outfits or roast them, I don't care. Make sure to follow along on Instagram. And don't forget to rate and subscribe and like and review and send this episode to a friend. All the things. As always, I'm so grateful for your support, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. I know all too well how busy life can be, and I am so grateful that you chose to stay. Now just know this is me trying, and I would greatly appreciate if you took a minute to leave a review or maybe share this episode with a fellow Swiftie. Make sure you join my broadcast channel on Instagram for more Swiftivities, and long story short, this love is real, and I'm beyond grateful for your support. See you next time.